Oh my gosh, guys, look what I just got in the mail. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brittany. I am a wife and a mother and a lover of all things makeup and skincare. So today I am going to be doing something a little bit different for me on my channel. I'm actually going to be doing 2 looks as well as a little review of the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I just got this in the mail today. I did swatches like a few minutes ago and I'm so excited to show you guys everything about this palette because it's gorgeous. I love Natasha Denona's eyeshadow palette formula, but I have been dreaming of the day since she would make one of her midi palettes, which her midi palettes are these $65 palettes. Been dreaming of the day that she would make one that's just a little bit colorful. All of them are very, you know, like neutral or like super warm tone palettes. So this is the first one that she's done in this size that is like so exciting to me. I do have the Love palette. Let me just show you that real quick. Okay, so here's the Love palette, and I feel like this is the other like colorful kind of palette that she's created from this midi size. So I do have her 2 most colorful midi palettes. I just think that this palette is so pretty. You guys know I love like greens and blues and all of that, and I like the mix of cool tones and warm tones. So here are the 2 palettes. Let me try to show you guys both of them in frame. So this is what they both look like. And they're so pretty. They're very different, obviously. But these are the only 2 midi size that I have. I do also have her Sunset palette. I did not purchase the Sunset palette. Me and my friend did like a little bit of a swap of makeup products, and she sent me this palette, and I was shocked because it's just something I never would have purchased myself because it's expensive, you know? So here's what that palette looks like. It is a very pretty, very warm toned. I don't use it too often because I do prefer cool tones, but it's very pretty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys some swatches of the palette as well as like close-ups of it, and then I'm going to talk about all of the different shades and like what kind of formulas they have, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the eye look. So I'm going to be doing an eye look today and then an eye look tomorrow. Today I'm going to do more of a neutral warm toned look, and then tomorrow I'm going to play with these fun greens. It's kind of late here today, which is why I don't want to like go do a super beautiful, colorful look when I know that I'm going to be taking this makeup off in the next like 5 or 6 hours. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the swatches on the screen so you can see, and then we will start kind of going over the formulas of all of the shadows because they are so beautiful. As you can see in the close-ups, the shade Vigor is definitely the one that is the most dry. It is actually the only dry matte that I noticed while I was doing swatches earlier today. I just feel like the rest of the mattes are just so gorgeous. Okay, so let's just quickly go over the formulas and also how they are described. I have my little cheat sheet here. I took a picture of the website and so I could kind of like go more in detail with all of the shades. So let's start here with this shade, which is Mindful. This is one of her cream to powder, which is my favorite of her formulas. It's such a gorgeous matte formula, and this is described as a medium cinnamon. This shade here is Luster, and it is a metallic bronze gold. This shade is Balance, and it is a creamy matte, which is a light medium caramel. So her creamy mattes are just her typical matte shades. This shade Flow is a metallic, and it is a medium silver blue teal. Oops, sorry about that. This shade Matra is another one of her creamed powder, and it is a medium greenish teal. It is my favorite matte in the entire palette. I just think it is gorgeous. It's so beautiful. This shade here is Aura, and it is a duochrome. It is a medium golden orange red. It's so beautiful, guys. This is Vigor. It is a creamy matte, and it is described as medium muted red coral. This shade is Relief, and it is also a creamy matte, and it is a light medium pink coral. This is Equilibrium. It is a metallic, and it is described as a medium dark silver teal. Such a pretty shade. So pretty. The shade Breath is a cream to powder, and it is a pastel mint. It is very pretty, but you definitely have to build it up quite a bit. This shade Sense is a metallic, and it is described as a pink copper. This shade Tranquil is a metallic, and it is described as a light warm rose. This shade Calm is a cream to powder, and it is described as a pastel peach. This shade Yama is also a duochrome, and it is a light peach bronze with green reflex. So pretty. That's probably my favorite shimmer from the swatches I've done. And then this last shade here is a matte, and it is called Zeal, and it is described as a dark, dusty army green. So yes, now let's go ahead and I'm going to do my eye look. I'll just do a neutral eye look today. And then at the end of this video, I'm also going to compare it to just a few palettes that I currently have. I don't think that there are any like true dupes that I have in my collection to this palette, but I will show you guys some comparisons just so you can see them side by side, and I'll also do swatches of the shades that I think actually look similar. But yeah, let's just go ahead and zoom you guys in so that we can do this eye look. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to like look down into my mirror the whole time, so I apologize about that. But I'm just gonna do like a super simple look. I'm not trying to do anything crazy today because like I said, I am going to be taking this off in just a few hours, so it's just kind of, there's no point to it, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the shade Balance. I'm gonna put that all in my crease. I might actually try to like put it here because I think you could probably see it better. If I do it here, then look in my mirror. I think it's probably the better bet. Oh, that is way more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. Okay, all right. It looks kind of lackluster in the palette. And then also, like when I did swatches, I felt like I had to build it up a little bit. But wow, okay. That is much more pigmented than I was expecting it to be. Holy guacamole. I really went hard on this shade, guys. I really did not think it was going to be anything that impressive. Holy moly. All right. I might have to go in with Relief here, this like more peachy shade, just to kind of lighten it up because, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. It's Natasha Denona, right? Oh, I don't think that that's helping, guys. I think it's just kind of like brightening it up a little bit, but it's still just as deep and dark and vampy. Okay, so we're doing something a little bit intense today, are we? I said a simple, neutral look, and here we are. So, well then, I don't know what I was thinking going in like that, was going so ham, but you know, that's on me. It's on me. I should have known better. This is Natasha Denona. I'm acting like this is like a ColourPop palette or something. Not that ColourPop formula isn't good, but you know, it's a little hit or miss, and I feel like this shade, if I would have put this shade from like a ColourPop, it wouldn't have been this bold. I should have maybe gone in with like Calm, but it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I do kind of like the way that those two look on top of each other. I think it's really pretty. Yeah, it's just a lot more vibrant than I was expecting it to be. I kind of look crazy, I won't lie to you. Yeah, I kind of look crazy. Alright guys, I'm like regretting all of my life choices right now, but it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's not so bad, right? It's just a little bit dark. Like, it's a little bit more intense than I was expecting. I'm gonna go in with Vigor, since we're already going there, right? And I'm gonna put that on my outer corner. See how it goes. So I feel like that's not as intense as I was wanting it to be. I did say though that it was a little bit drier. It's not like patchy or anything, as you guys can see, but yeah, it's definitely not as bold of a red. I do know that the red that's in the Love palette is kind of similar to this, where like it's not as bold. Reds are really hard to formulate though, so I get it, you know. You can only do what you can do. Okay, so I feel like since we're going there, right, and we're going so deep and dark and vampy, I think I'm going to put Mindful, which is the cream to powder, just on the very outer corner, just to like extra deepen it up, give it a little bit more spice. So let me just finish putting Vigor. I don't feel like it's even, so even that out. And then let's go ahead and go in with Mindful. So let's see here. Ooh, Mindful is very pretty. I'm just like barely tapping it and it's so pretty. And it blends so nicely with the other shades. You know, this is bold, but I think it's pretty. Like, I don't think it's turning out bad. I just think that I wish I would have not gone so ham with balance. I think that if I would have not gone so hard into that shade, that this would be like a nice look. I do like how all of these shades kind of go together so nicely. Like, you like almost can't even see where one shade starts and the next one begins. It's just so pretty. Again, except for like right here. That was on me. That was not the shade. So I think I'm going to put Aura all over the lid because that is the duochrome. I'm just going to use my fingers. I always use my fingers with shimmers, so it's just, oh, it's so pretty. So we're definitely not going a super neutral look, but we are going very warm toned. So oh my gosh. That is even prettier on my lid than it is in swatches. Holy moly. Do you guys see that? That is so pretty. What? Okay, I love this shade. It's so pretty. I'm shook, guys. I can't get over that shift. You probably can't tell because my lighting is absolutely terrible, but it's got like that red to an orange kind of a shift. So pretty. Holy moly. Your girl loves this shade. Okay. And I am not a super warm tone type of gal. This shade kind of reminds me of a shade in the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. Which shade is it? It's called Morgana. It's this shade here. Let me just swatch it just to see. Okay, so Morgana's on my middle finger there, and then Aura is on my other finger. Okay, they're not super similar. So let me just swatch them. So this is from the Zendo palette, and then this is from Sunset. So there they are together. Can you guys see that? I feel like the one from the Zendo palette is much more red. The one from the Sunset palette is definitely more orange, but they're both duochromes and they both have that kind of like tint to them. But I like this a lot. Definitely not as neutral as I was going for, but it's very warm toned. So there's that, because my look tomorrow will be much more cool toned. I mean, we'll see what happens because clearly a hot mess. Okay, so now let's do my lower lash line. I'm trying to find my favorite lower lash line brush. So I am gonna put Balance lightly. Can you guys see that? Gonna lightly put Balance on my lower lash line. See how this goes? I'm nervous. I like didn't even want to breathe while I was doing that. So scared. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to put Relief, which is that peachy shade. I'm going to put that in on the lower lash line as well, closer to the inner part. Okay. Okay, there is a little bit of fallout, but not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But there is a little bit, mostly from when I did my lower lash line. I feel like you could tell more there. And I think there's a little bit just from the shade Balance, but I can sweep it away pretty quickly and easily, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my liner and my mascara and reapply my lip gloss, and then I will be right back. So I don't feel like there's a great like inner corner shade in that palette for my skin tones, so I'm just going to use the highlighter that I used today, which was from the Kaja Play Bento Trio, and just put that in my inner corner just to lighten it up a little. This highlighter is insane. It's so beautiful. All right, so that is look 1 done. I definitely went a lot more bold than I was expecting to, but yeah, these shades are super pigmented, so be careful when you're applying them. If you have a light skin tone like me, do not put balance straight into your crease. You will regret all of your life choices right then and there. But I do like the way that it turned out. Sorry if it sounds like I'm like tooting. I'm not, it's my chair. But I do really like the way that this look turned out. I think it's very, very pretty. But yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow's look because I feel like the greens are going to be just gorgeous on the eyes. But so far, I really like this palette. I feel like the shades just blend so seamlessly, like you can barely even tell my edges, and I am not the greatest at blending my eyeshadows. I'm just not. But I can't even believe how nice and pigmented and like creamy all of the shades are. I mean, again, Vigor is the only one that's a little bit dry, and I don't feel like it looked bad when I actually applied it. I feel like just the shades just all go together so nicely. I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the next look. All right, guys, back for look 2. So today I'm obviously going to be playing with the greens. I'm going to start out with the shade Breath, just because I don't want to make the same mistake that I did yesterday and go in with a shade that is like way too dark. So this shade is a very light mint shade, so it's probably not going to show up all that well until it gets built. Which is what I'm going for because I messed up yesterday. We were all there. We were all there. You guys were there like 2 minutes ago. So yeah, I just think that going in with something light like this is definitely the best way to go. And you guys can still see it though, right? It's hard because of the lighting to know like what you guys are seeing, but I can definitely see it. It's just definitely a lot lighter of a shade. I am going to be putting the shade Mantra in the crease in a little bit, which is that dark green, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to learn from my mistakes this time. So this green shade though, even though it is so light and pastel, it's actually so pretty. I think this would be a really good just like one and done shadow, to be completely honest. Like this would look so good all over your lid and then just call it a day. So pretty. Alright, so let's go ahead and attempt to put a Mantra a little bit in the crease. I'm going to go very light-handed this time, and I'm also going to put that on the inner corner as well. So just the tiniest bit to start and see if we can slowly build it up. Oh yeah, that's good. That was like the smallest touch. Did you guys see that? I literally just barely touched it and then it's already that pigmented. Like these shadows, guys, whew, they are beautiful and so pigmented. Okay, that's so pretty. I love it. That is so pretty. I just love greens. Like those are my favorite tones, is green to do on my eyes. And this together, I feel like the mint really like kind of mellowed out this shade. It's so pretty. Also, I'm going to be doing something super subtle today. I just don't want to do anything super crazy. I'll probably have some more like crazy looks on my Instagram page using this palette because I do love to do really fun things with makeup, but for some reason just doing it on camera like makes me nervous. You can see there what it would look like without that mint underneath it, and it is a lot darker, which is what I was expecting. I forgot to turn off my air conditioning, so I'm sorry. It's like the most annoying noise in the world, and I feel like it's even more annoying like when I'm filming. So my mic really likes to pick up that sound, so sorry about that. Okay, that is really pretty. So gorgeous. Okay, so I think I am going to just deepen this even more with the shade Zeal, which is kind of like a brown with a green undertone to it. I'm just going to put that on the very outer corner just to deepen it. That is exactly what I wanted. Okay. Wow, so pretty. So pretty. Can you guys tell I like this palette? I feel like every single time I apply anything, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. But it is. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, this is really, really nice. I feel like this palette just is so fun. But still wearable. Clearly the two looks that I did were not super wearable, but you could definitely do the lighter shades and it could be so fun and wearable. I just love the way that everything goes together. It's so nice. So, trying to decide here if I want to do Flow for the rest of the lid or Yama. Let me like swatch them because I can't really remember. So, this is Flow and Yama. Let's see, which one do I want? I feel like I should go with Flow, even though Yama is like a gorgeous shade, just because I already did like a super warm toned look yesterday, so I kind of want to do like a super greenish blue color. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be a very similar look to yesterday as far as like the way I'm placing my shadows, but that's okay. This is so pretty. Ooh, I like the way that this all goes together. Yes. Okay, wow. I like this look a lot. I like this look a lot. I could wear this like almost every day. Like, that's how much I like this. I like just this color story. And it's kind of like a blue-green, like it's a teal kind of a color, and I just really like the way that it looks. And with all of them together, like I just feel like everything just goes. All of these shades just seriously go together. I feel like you could do any color combination and it would still look so good because of how easily everything like blends out. Okay, I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'm gonna put Yama in the inner corner just so that I can use it a little bit because it's such a pretty shade. And I feel like sad that I haven't used it in either of my looks. It's like the most gorgeous duochrome ever. So, okay, you guys can maybe see it. It's not so dark that like it looks crazy in the inner corner. I think it's actually really pretty. Okay, lower lash line. I'm just going to start with, actually I think I'm just gonna put Mantra. I think I'm just gonna put Mantra on the lower lash line. I think that'll look okay. Same as last time, I'm going very lightly. Okay, I used like the lightest hand and I think that it looks pretty good. Obviously I was a little bit nervous to put a dark green on my lower lash line, but I think because I just literally did like the tiniest tap and then did it, I think it looks pretty good. This side's definitely darker though. That looks pretty good. Let me go put on my mascara and my eyeliner and I will be right back. Alright guys, so here is look number 2. I really, really like the way that this turned out. I think it's so pretty and just right up my alley. So now I'm going to switch you guys over to when I'm doing the comparisons of this palette compared to a few other palettes in my collection. I only have 4 like comparisons to show you guys because I don't have a ton of palettes that look like this. So yeah, I'm sure other YouTubers that are doing this type of a video will have found some better dupes, but I have 4 that I'm going to be comparing to this palette, so let's go ahead and show you guys that part. I did have to divide it up between yesterday and today because my camera died. You'll see that in a minute, but anyway, so roll the tape. Okay, so the first palette that I want to compare it to is the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette. I did hear quite a few people say that they thought that the color stories were similar. I can see it, but I do think they look pretty differently. This is definitely a lot more like muted. The Zendo palette is a lot more muted than the Club Nebula palette, but I will do some quick swatches of the shades that I think might be similar looking at them. I'm just like not really sure. I think that probably Queen of Blades and Mantra maybe. So here is Queen of Blades and then here's Mantra. So Queen of Blades, and Mantra. So those are, those are pretty similar. I don't think that they're as similar as a lot of people were expecting them to be though. I feel like Mantra is definitely a lot more green. So then maybe Nebula and Aura. So that is Nebula and Aura, and I feel like it's going to be a similar situation. So we have Nebula and then Aura. So yeah, not as similar as I thought they were going to be at all. There they are together. This is the Nebula shade and this is Aura. So this is from the Club Nebula palette and this is from the Zendo palette. And obviously the Zendo is much more red and bright and dark. Then let's do Red Giant from Club Nebula versus Vigor. So there those are, Club Nebula and the Zendo. So let's do a swatch of that. The Club Nebula one is a lot more pigmented and like creamy and buttery. So those are those two. Again, not similar basically at all. I feel like the Club Nebula is a lot more pigmented. So let's do Samus and Balance and then also Calm. Okay, so Samus, Balance, Calm. So Samus is from Club Nebula. Sorry, my camera decided to cut me off, but this is from the Club Nebula palette, and then these are both from the Natasha and Denona Zendo palette, and I feel like maybe these two are a little bit similar, but still not that similar. Sorry guys, I'm trying here. Okay, so let's do Naru and Zeal. Naru and Zeal. I feel like it's going to be a similar situation again. Sorry, I don't know where to swatch everything, so there is the Club Nebula, and then that is Natasha Denona. So the Natasha Denona is a lot more deeper, and it also has a little bit more green in it. And then maybe the last one we'll do is Celestial and Tranquil. Now Celestial is a duochrome, so probably not very similar. So okay, so Club Nebula and then the Zendo. No, not at all, not even slightly. All right, so there you have it. I don't feel like they are similar to each other at all. I am going to put Luster from the Zendo with this one just to kind of see. Nope, not at all. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Not very similar at all. These swatches are terrible. You can tell that this is my first time doing this type of video. Okay, so let's move on to the next palette. Let me like wipe off all these swatches first. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, my camera is screaming at me, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing all of these swatches today. I might have to do some of them tomorrow. But another palette I thought might be similar is the Disney Designer Midnight Masquerade palette, because it does have those similar like tones. I don't think it's that similar, but there are those two side by side. My fingers are also like stained from those last swatches. So let's go ahead and do a few swatches here. So I'm going to do Dolly and Aura. So here they are. Here are those swatches. So this is the Natasha Denona and this is from the Disney Designer. I don't think they're very similar. Next, let's do Enchanted and Calm. So sorry, my fingers are stained. Okay, those two are pretty similar actually. So I'll give them that. Okay, Enchanted and Calm are very similar. Let's do Frog and Wife and Flow. Okay, it looks like Frog and Wife is more of a green and then Flow is more of a blue. Yes, I was right. Those are pretty though, and they are, you know, similar-ish to each other, not identical obviously. Then let's do Mrs. Potts from the Disney Designer next to Luster, since they're both like those goldy shades. So here those two are swatched. Those are, you know, similar-ish to each other. So I actually feel like this palette might be more similar than the other. And then let's do Gaston and Vigor. Vigor's already wanting to give me trouble today. Okay, so there's those two. Those are not similar at all. This is much more purple. The Natasha Denona is much more red. Let's see, maybe Mindful and Quasimodo. So Quasimodo and Mindful. Yeah, those are probably similar. I don't know where I'm going to swatch them though. Let's just go here. So Quasimodo and Mindful. So Quasimodo is a lot more deeper and more cool than the Natasha Denona. And I think those are the only shades that I can see similarities. Maybe Nutmeg and Balance. So Nutmeg and Balance. No, probably not. No, not very much. So there is the ColourPop and Disney Designer, and then there's Natasha Denona. So yeah, I feel like they have more similar tones than the Club Nebula, but I don't think that they are dupes by any means. I think that just maybe like 2 of the shades I would say are like similar. You could definitely get similar looks with the 2 palettes, so if you have this and you don't want to splurge the $65, then I would just say like stick with this, but I do think that there are not that many similar shades. And I did get this for 10% off, so I got a little bit of a discount on it, so there's that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do the rest of the swatches tomorrow because my camera is dying, and of course it is. I need to get a new battery. I need to not just have like one, but I didn't do that. So I'll show you the rest of the swatches after tomorrow's makeup look. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so another palette that I thought might be similar is this Violet Voss Flamingo palette. Now that I'm seeing them next to each other, not so much, but I will do some swatches of some shades that I think could be comparable. So let's see. Sunbathe and then Balance. So Sunbathe from Violet Voss and Balance. Do the same thing that I did yesterday. So Sunbeam and Balance, or Sunbathe? Sunbathe and Balance. Okay, so as you can see, the one from Natasha Denona is a lot darker, but they're a similar undertone. Let's do Calm from Natasha Denona and then Coral from the Violet Voss. So this is Violet Voss Coral and then Calm. Okay, so Coral is much more pink, I think. Yes, much more pink, but again, they're pretty similar. Let's do Oceanfront and Breathe. So I think Breathe is going to be more of like a green undertone. Okay, yeah, so it's much more green. And then Natasha Denona, but those are actually pretty similar. Like I feel like on the eyes they would probably look very similar. And then we'll do a Tidal Wave from Violet Voss and then Flow from Natasha Denona. So the Violet Voss I think is a lot brighter. Ooh, yeah, the one from Violet Voss is so pretty. They're both really pretty though. You guys know I'm a sucker for blues and greens, so that was obvious. Okay, and then we'll do Sandals and Balance. Sandals and Balance. Okay, and that'll be it. So there you go. The one from Natasha Denona is deeper and a little less orange. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So definitely not dupes. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection though, so really love it, but definitely not a dupe for the Natasha Denona. Let's go on to the last potential dupe that I have. Okay, so the last potential dupe that I have is the Magic Mini from Juvia's Place, just because it has those warm and cool tones. That's kind of what I was thinking. So let's look at them side by side. Okay, so there they are together. It's a lot more brighter. The Juvia's Place palette is a lot brighter than this Natasha Denona one, but there might be a few similar shades. So we're gonna do Nana and Balance. Nana looks a lot more orange than Balance. Yes, so it's a lot more orangey toned. Okay, we'll do Aja and Mantra and Equilibrium. So those are those 3. So this one's Juvia's Place and then these 2 are Natasha Denona. So let's see. Okay, I actually think that the shimmer and the Natasha Denona and the Juvia's Place are fairly similar. They're just, the Natasha Denona is a little bit less dark, but I feel like if I did another swatch of it, you could probably see that there. They're pretty similar. That's probably the most similar shade from this palette. Like now that I have them next to each other, there's just not that many similar shades, I don't think. Okay, we'll do Yara and Flow. Oh, those are actually very similar. So Yara and Flow. Alright, those are actually very similar. Those are very similar shades. I definitely think that Flow from Natasha Denona is definitely more blue, but besides that, they're really similar. Osen Zuba from the Juvia's Place with Tranquil from Natasha Denona. Okay, so there's those three, like a little fuzzy on there. Okay, so let's swatch those. Okay, so those are those three. These two are Juvia's Place, and then this is Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona is much more orange, but they're pretty similar. All three of them are actually pretty similar. And then lastly, I'm going to do Boranu. I'm so bad at names, sorry guys. With Luster and Yama. Okay, so this is Juvia's Place, and then those are the two Natasha Denona. I'm actually like try to do them down here. Sorry, the lighting got messed up. Okay, so Juvia's Place and then the two Natasha Denona. They're not actually similar as I thought they were gonna be. I feel like this one Juvia's Place next to the Natasha Denona looks a little bit similar, but not that much. Okay, lastly, I'm gonna do Koji and Vigor. Vigor just is not wanting to swatch very well. Okay, so the one from Juvia's Place is a lot brighter. And there they are together. Yeah, not very similar at all. I honestly, yeah, don't see that many similarities between the two palettes. Okay, now that I've compared this palette to those four palettes that I have, I definitely think that the one that is closest to this palette is definitely the Disney Designer Midnight Masquerade palette from ColourPop. Obviously they're not exactly the same as you guys saw in the swatches, but I do feel like the undertones are pretty similar, and I do think that you could get some similar looks with the two. So if you have this palette and you don't want to splurge the $65 for this one, I don't think that you need to, but I will say that I still really enjoy this Natasha Denona palette. I think it's gorgeous, and I do think that you might miss out on a few really fun shades in this palette if you only use this one. But if you have this, just heads up. Okay, so now that I've done swatches and two makeup looks and also done some comparisons to other palettes that I have in my collection, I want to give you guys kind of my final thoughts on this palette. So I honestly do think that it is worth the $65. I really enjoy the shades in this palette. Like I've said multiple times, the only shade that I just don't think that is worth it is the shade Vigor here, which is their red shade. I just feel like it is not as pigmented as the other ones. You can see in the swatches when I'm comparing it to other palettes, it's just not as pigmented. Reds typically just don't do as well. This is a lot drier than all of the other shades in this palette as well, which I've noticed that with pretty much every red shade that I have in my collection. Like, I'm pretty sure if I just went through every single red shade that I have, 90% of them are going to feel dry and they're not going to be as pigmented as the other shades in that palette. So that doesn't really surprise me or upset me that much, because to be honest, I don't ever reach for reds when I'm doing a makeup look. Like, that's just not the shade I'm going for. So it probably wasn't going to get a lot of use anyway. But the cream to powders in here are beyond gorgeous. I feel like every single shade just blends like a dream together, and you can't even tell like where one shade stops and the next one begins with this palette. It's just so nice. I feel like this is like foolproof. If you are somebody that really struggles with doing eyeshadow looks, I think that you'd be pretty happy with this palette, but the shades are very pigmented. Just keep that in mind. But they do blend a lot easier than a lot of other shades. Like, I have messed up eye looks plenty of times before where I've used too dark of a shade in the crease and then the eye look is done because I can't blend it anymore. But with these shades, I feel like they do blend very easily, so you don't really struggle like you would with a lot of other palettes. Just overall, guys, I really like this. I'm so glad I got it. I won't lie, like, after I placed the order, I was like, oof. Should I have done that? Like, did I really need to buy a $65 eyeshadow palette when I have so many? But I've been really wanting to try more from Natasha Denona because I've loved every palette that I've tried from her. And yeah, I'm very glad I got this. I cannot wait to do more eye looks. Make sure to check out my Instagram page if you want to see more eye looks from this, because I'm definitely going to be doing a ton of them. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. This was definitely a lot more of a long video than I normally do, and it was also a lot more time consuming than most of my videos are, so I really do appreciate it so much if you watched all the way to the end. Make sure to like this video. Also, comment down below, let me know, did you like this style of video, or would you prefer me not to do reviews? That's okay if you prefer me not to do reviews, but I thought this was so much fun. I just had a really good time, like, trying to find dupes and all of that. It's just kind of fun. I know it's a lot more work, but it's it's enjoyable work, so that's good. Also, make sure to subscribe if you watched this video and you enjoyed it, because I do a lot of really fun videos here. I do a lot of shop my stashes and project pans, and I'm doing a declutter series, which is almost over. I only have 2 more videos in that declutter series left. Yeah, that's pretty much everything, and I'll see you guys in a few days with another video. Bye guys.